Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works. Just want to confirm that those that are joining us through Zoom can hear us. Mary Jane Muir, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Are you able to hear us loud and clear?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning again, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works. For today, Friday, March 31st, 2023, we do have a relatively short agenda, but a very special one in recognition of our Women's Heritage Month and Appreciation Month recognition ceremonies this morning. For presenters, we have 6 items. Item number 1 and 2 will be presented by Marina Quinones. Item 3, Rachel Malarich. No presenter on item number 4. Item number 5, Gary Brandt. Item number 6 from the Bureau of Sanitation, David Kim. From the Bureau of Street Services, Martha Iñiguez. And from the Bureau of Engineering, Jonathan Carroll. Nothing to report for BSL, or Street Lighting, and also the Contract Administration Bureau. For Bureau representatives that are joining us through the Zoom application this morning, Iona June, Cecile Buncio, Ruben Flamenco, Roosevelt Bagby, and Shalish Patel, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Should the board have any questions for your Bureau, we will open up those audio lines at that time. Again, this is for the Bureau representatives. At this time, we're going to identify any caller that's on the line from the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 if you're joining us through a landline or smartphone device. If you're joining us through the Zoom application, you can click the raise hand icon located at the lower right-hand side of your screen. That will raise your hand. And if you're joining us in person here at City Hall, on the 3rd floor, if you can fill out a speaker card located at the back end of the room, you can go ahead and fill out that speaker card and turn that in to me as soon as possible. Again, this is for members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9, click the raise hand icon, or submit your speaker card at this time. Currently, we have 3 hands that were raised. We'll start with, or 4 hands that were raised. We'll start with Kenyatta Cole. Again, we're just identifying which item you're speaking on. Kenyatta Cole, good morning to you. Which item would you like to speak on? Hi, Kenyatta Cole, C-O-L-E. Last name, if you can unmute your microphone. Which item would you like to speak on? Last call for Kenyatta Cole. Hi,
Item number 6.
Item number 6, perfect. Thank you so much.
6.
We'll get started in a few minutes, and then as soon as the board considers item number 6, we will add you to the queue for speaking on item number 6. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next caller. Again, we're just identifying the callers at this time. Silva Blackstone. Silva, good morning to you. Which item would you like to speak on?
Good morning. I'd like to speak on item number 3 about the change in contract for tree planting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And as soon as the board considers item number 3, we'll add you to the queue for that item. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next caller by the name of Floyd, F-L-O-Y-D. Floyd, if you can unmute your microphone and let us know which item you'd like to speak on.
Hello, I would like to speak on item number 6 as well.
Great. We will go ahead and add you, Floyd, to item number 6.
Thank you.
And last caller on the line that has raised their hand, caller ending in 565, caller ending in 565. If you can unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *9 to unmute your microphone. I'm sorry, *6 to unmute your microphone. Caller ending in 565, caller ending in 565. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *6. Please state your name and which item you'd like to speak on. Last call for caller ending in 565, area code 213. If you can please unmute your microphone by pressing *6 to unmute your microphone. Please state your name and which item you'd like to speak on. Caller with 565, your hand has been lowered. Thank you so much. Commissioners, thank you this morning. Apologies for a slight delay this morning, but I believe we can get started.
Number 6.
Oh, caller 565.
Yes, number 6.
Hi, which item would you like to speak on? Item 6?
Yeah, number 6, correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have 2 callers ahead of you for item number 6. It may take about 40 to 45 minutes before the board gets to item number 6. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we will add you to the queue for item number 6. Madam Chair, all presenters are in the room. All callers have been screened for public comment or commentary on the items. We can get started by starting the recording if you're ready.
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, you are now in record mode.
Wonderful. Thank you. And welcome everyone to our last meeting for the month of March. Seems like this year is flying. March 31st for the Board of Public Works. Dr. Campos, if you can take quorum.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum. We have Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. Vice President Reyes, I'm Vice President Villegas. You have a quorum at this time. For the record, President Garcia is out on approved absence this morning. Vice President Villegas, at this time we have no callers on the line under general public comment. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comments section, and we also have speakers on item number 3, 1 speaker for item number 3, and we have 3 speakers for item number 6. Again, item 3 and 6, and no public comment.
Thank you. All right. Hearing no public comments for general public comment and neighborhood councils, we will close those items. All right, let's move on then just to the approval of the minutes for Friday, March 17th. Do we have a second to my motion to approve those minutes?
Second.
All right, Dr. Campos, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Reyes, if you can.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. This is to approve the minutes. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. All right. I only reviewed text messages from my children, and of course, they'd like to do that at this moment. So I apologize for looking at that phone while we start. All right. We will go on to the celebration that we have for today's last day of Women's History Month, March 31st, and I will turn this over to Commissioner Reyes to lead us in this effort. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. What a month. Our Board of Public Works celebrates Women's History Month in more ways than one. We have honored outstanding female employees in our bureaus and offices, as well as recognized top female employees of Iranian descent in concert with the Persian Nowruz holiday. On March 22nd, we hosted a panel discussion on women leading at work, her stories, where stories of women leaders were highlighted and celebrated. Today, as we wrap up our Women's History Month celebration, we find it fitting to recognize women businesses with top dollar contract amounts at the Department of Public Works to showcase their stories and achievements. We ought to celebrate Women's History Month not just in a month, but every day. Women have come a long way, and we're just beginning. And before I turn it over to Vice President Villegas, I want to thank our Bureau of Contract Administration representatives who are here to support our honorees. Would you please stand up? All right, Linda's here. Thank you for being present. And also, I want to turn it over now to Vice President Villegas to present the certificate to the first 2 honorees.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, and appreciate us being able to give recognition to the female organizations or businesses that are being honored today. I'm glad that we're able to do this and recognize all of you for your efforts and your continued participation with the City of Los Angeles. Thank you. The first honoree that we have is Ms. Wanda M. Martinez. She is the CEO of DR Consultants and Designers, Inc. Ms. Martinez founded the firm in 1983 under the name Dean Ryan Consultants and Designers, DRC, and she was the company's first employee. In the early 80s, Ms. Martinez humbly ran her small business engineering firm, competing with mega firms, but Ms. Martinez persevered and stayed the course, which paid off because she was able to secure opportunities with decision makers in public works. In 1985, the City of Los Angeles Department of Public Works, Bureau of Sanitation, gave DRC their first 6 employees, which provided Ms. Martinez a firm foundation to grow. And in the early 1990s, Ms. Martinez became the first Hispanic woman to win in competition a prime contract with the Department of Public Works Environmental Engineering Division, where her firm earned her firm earned a 5-year follow to contract. It's 5 with 5-year renewals. And the way that it appears in my notes, it just sounds a little confusing, so I apologize for that. Followed contracts due to excellent work and client accolades. The foundation that the Department of Public Works gave Ms. Martinez has parlayed into winning multi-million-dollar contracts with the Port of Los Angeles, where DRC has earned 4 3-year contracts due to excellent work. Ms. Martinez has been awarded 3 5-year engineering contracts with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Los Angeles District Court earning over $15 million, and an APWA Project of the Year award for the Corps. She is a consistent advocate for small, women-owned, and minority-owned businesses to participate in all-government contracts throughout her 38 years in business. It is an honor to welcome and honor Ms. Wanda M. Martinez. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Vice President, Commissioners, and Board Representatives. It's really been an honor and a privilege to provide professional services to the Board of Public Works, Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Sanitation, WCED, Port of Los Angeles, and EED since 1984. I've been around a long time. So working with the city since 1984, I've seen a lot. I've seen the progression and evolution of all of us. And I can tell you that the business inclusion program has really made a difference. We're not there yet, but it's really it's moved everything forward. And I'm glad to be a part of that. If it were not for the board's commitment, I know you've all been warriors, Mr. Davis, and all of you, but if you were not committed to equity and inclusion, many of us may not be here today. So I thank you for that. I'd like to thank you, Commissioners, John Reamer, Linda McClinchy, Capri Maddox, and Ethan Wong for their unwavering support. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations once again. Our next firm is John Friedman Alice Kim Architects. They're known as JFAK. They're founded in 1996, and they are based out of Boyle Heights. They believe that architecture has the power to inspire. John and Alice have shaped a diverse practice that addresses a wide range of programs, sizes, and types, including residential, institutional, and cultural facilities and monuments. Their creative workspaces, educational facilities, public parks, and outdoor environments, and master plans, and much, much more. Because of the new technologies that allows them to advance and social connections and enhance performance and enables global messaging. JFAK has created architecture that reflects and celebrates identity. Recently, with a group of like-minded collaborators, John and Alice founded Open Source Homelessness Initiative, or OSHI, a nonprofit organization that mines open data to accelerate innovative solutions to eradicate homelessness as we know it. Recent and current public projects include the undertaken on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, and that includes the beautiful La Kretz Innovation Campus, that which was completed. CD8 Homeless Navigation Center, also completed. Koreatown Gateway, it's scheduled to be completed by 2024. Pio Pico Pocket Park and Parking Structure. Donald C. Tillman Water Treatment Facility Ancillary Main Office, it's pending for construction. Ancillary Warehouse Facility, currently under construction. Wonderland Elementary School Kindergarten Building, also under construction. Levine and Young Center, Phase 1 is completed and Phase 2 is in design. City of Palm Springs Homeless Navigation Center, under construction. City of Palmdale Saves Food Bank and Navigation Center Study, it's completed. And LAWP La Kretz Hollywood Customer Service Center, that is in design. And the West LA Civic Center Office Building Planning Study, and it's currently in progress. The firm has also completed and is working on educational projects for a variety of private and nonprofit institutions, including Claremont McKenna College, Caltech, Chapman University, UCLA, UCSB, UCSD, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State LA, and Westbrook Foundation. It is an honor to recognize you in today's celebration. That's a lot of work. Congratulations. If you wouldn't mind coming to the podium to say a few words.
I just want to say thank you. It is really a privilege and an honor to be here, especially in this company. My comments are really brief and sort of informal. I think that one of the reasons why it is such a meaningful thing to be recognized today is because, you know, as an architect, I think working on public projects, it's not actually the easiest thing. There are many, as you all know, there are so many hoops to jump through. We've actually worked with Marina here, you know, on projects and things like that. But I do think that there's been a real shift in the recognition of how important public space is and the design of public space, how important it really is to not just the livelihood of the city, but to the livelihood of all individuals. And I think that with the pandemic, kind of a reconsideration of that public space has become so critical. And, you know, I think that in our practice, we're sort of looking forward to a new era of public space design, and how that sort of shapes up is going to be really a fascinating and hopefully enriching experience for every single one of us and every single citizen of the city. Personally, I've really come to really love this city, and I can't imagine being anywhere else. Everyone told me when I arrived after grad school that it would take 10 years to get to love the city. I think it took me more like 15 or 20, but now I really feel so entrenched in it, and just so committed to really helping in what little way I can and my firm can, you know, in making LA kind of the best city in the world, which it's really, I mean, I think it is already, so, but in the eyes of the world as well. So I just want to say thank you very, very much for this recognition, and very happy to be here. Thanks.
Our third honoree unfortunately cannot be here, and that's Sandra Turner Cockrell, founder of Sandy's Trucking. They couldn't attend, but it is my pleasure to recognize the work that she's doing in a male-dominated space of trucking and her continued contribution to making Los Angeles a better place. Her contract is for as-needed hauling for trucking. So for our fourth and last honoree, this is for E. Jasper Trucking. It's a family business. It was founded in 1968 by Eldon and Lynn Jasper. That's over 55 years of service, and they continued to serve even after the death of Mr. Jasper in 2005. With the help of their family, their business continues. The family-owned business conducts services like construction, demolition, excavation, debris removal, trucking, hauling, dispatching, and much more. They work with various entities, including our very own street services team. It is my pleasure to recognize their continued service and dedication to the Department of Public Works. Thank you for all you do. I want to call on Lynn Jasper.
Good morning. Taking a deep breath, I would really like to thank the City of Los Angeles, the mayors through the years, the Bureau of Street Services, the Board of Public Works, and the commissioners for the honor that they bestowed upon me today, not only me, but also for the other women that are being recognized here today, and also for the women that are not here and are really, truly worthy of this honor. As Commissioner Reyes said, we've been working with the city so long until I feel like I'm part of the city. We're under the trucking program that had been implemented some 130 years ago for small businesses and minorities. It was more like a family business because in it, it allowed the truckers who held the contract to let it be inherited by the family member, the wives. But over the years in 2010, that program was discontinued. In 1984, I think it was in the 80s and the 90s when the Affirmative Action Program came into being, which enlarged the playing field for women. And my husband, God rest him, gave me the opportunity to be 52%, and he took 48%. So that made it woman-owned. So what I have done over the years in teaching my young students and my grandchildren and great-grands, that the opportunity is there, the doors are open for anyone that wants to walk through them. The program that I must say and give kudos to for the BSS, Business of Street Service, the Bureau of Street Services, that opportunity for me and for all other women and all minorities. We have 94 truckers on that program. And it's an irony today that that particular number 6 is where we will be losing that program. They are trying to dismantle it or discontinue it. I don't know if anyone on the board realized where we are. So I kind of looked at what the mayor ran on, homelessness. And if we don't watch it, 94 of us will be homeless in 90 days. So I do appreciate the opportunity that you have given me. And if you could take under consideration where we stand with the trucking program, because it is a beautiful program. And it can help a lot of young women as they come into the business. So thanks again for the honor.
So we'll turn the table to our commissioners if they have any comments to add before we close.
Dr. Davis?
Thank you so very much, Vice Chair. And I want to thank my colleague, Commissioner Reyes, for coordinating this effort. I can't tell you how fulfilling it is to see the women here whom we've been able to help and to assist over the years. And for those women that are particularly here, and their journey is certainly reflective of the journey of Americans in general. Particularly Mrs. Wanda Martinez, who was here since 1984, a time in history when the United States in general and Los Angeles in particular had affirmative action programs. And we were proud to be the kind of government that implemented policies of inclusion. But as America is what it is, it's a place where everybody has a voice. We have gone and been a seesaw of inclusion to what some of us believe have been movements of exclusion. And sometimes it has been because of the leadership we have received in this country, and sometimes in terms of enforcing it at other levels of government. But when we say the American dream throughout this country, we mean everybody having an opportunity. And when we think about celebrating Women's History Month, we have to also look at the demographics of our city. We have a large group of families that are matrifocal families, families that are headed by women. And we have in this country often talked about equity in pay for women, because these families are headed by women. They should receive the same amount of money to take care of their families that men-centered families have been receiving. And so when I think about what we have done today, for me, it is very fulfilling, and we have to continue to do that, despite the fact that we have what they call an affirmative action ban. We are one among 9 states in the United States of America that it operates in a state with an affirmative action ban. And yet, we look at the leadership of our city, the dynamic city council, though it has its challenges like every other political body. And guess what? A mayor who happens to be a woman. How lucky we are. And when we look at these two influences in government, we see that there is a conflict between the vision of our leadership and what exists in terms of public policy. So we are often heard or being told that you don't have to include people based upon who they are, their difference, or what they are, their gender. And yet we have our city council and our mayor saying everybody is important, and that the distinguishing fact of who you are is not something that excludes you for who you should be. All of us pay taxes. Women don't pay any less taxes than men, so they should be able to receive the same benefit that men receive. And so when I think about, again, the American dream, that dream can be best reflected in what government does to empower those people who pay into this system. And that's all of us. And more importantly, as we are a Los Angeles city with many different families, many of which have women-headed families. And so those families should be empowered. And I think in seeing you here today, it gives me pride and self-assurance that we are continuing to move in the right direction despite whatever perception people have about us being an affirmative action banned state. We still have leaders in this town that have a different vision. And there are ways when we respect each other, when we respect the prime contractors, that we can still achieve diversity and equity based upon gender, and we don't need a law to tell us to do it. We can do it because we want to do it, and because we have mutual respect for each other, and we believe that everyone should be entitled to that American dream. And finally, I will say, even though we have this Prop 209, we also have the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. And the last time I checked, federal law should trump every other law thereunder. So thank you so very much, Commissioner Reyes, for coordinating this effort and giving us an opportunity to see how powerful we are as a government to empower those who helped us to be who we are today. And that's every taxpayer, and that's specifically women in the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations, and keep on being role models for us all. Thank you.
Dr. Davis, always so eloquent. Thank you for your comments. And Commissioner Corsan?
Thank you. Congratulations. I will say I'm a little bit shocked, Ms. Kim, 15, 20 years to fall in love with LA. I tell people it shouldn't take you more than 6 months, so we have to have a sidebar and figure out why it took so long. Really appreciate this opportunity, not just to have the presentation, but to hear your backgrounds and hear your stories, 1968, 1984, 1996. Those are different decades and different eras. And to hear how programs that individuals around this dais before me, like Dr. Davis had advocated for, from the Business Inclusion Program to other programs, to see the effects they've had and how we're seeing them play out today, and even being called out for programs that may be going away and what that means. And I appreciate that a lot, because as we hear how business inclusion benefited women-owned businesses, and to hear that after, I'm trying to do the math in my head from 2023 minus 1968, so I'm still getting there. But after all those years of what could be taken away and what it could mean, it's very profound. And that struck a chord with me on what we're trying to celebrate and what we're trying to preserve, as we're a city that, although we may have had an imperfect past, we strive for perfection in terms of the opportunities we create. And when you see it, you believe it. And so when women, when minorities, any individual sees the accomplishments and the heights you've achieved in your careers, that inspires others to follow as well. But if we start taking those programs away, or we don't empower those programs further, we just make it a little bit harder. So thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for helping put this together. Thank you to our honorees for sharing your story and calling us out. And congratulations, and I hope we continue to see you succeed and see your heirs, however we want to put it, carry your mantle forward as well.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'll just also echo the sentiments of my colleagues here and just congratulate each and every one of you. I think that your work is also inspiring, not just for, people like myself, but it's also inspiring for the next generation. It's important for us. I know that these types of celebrations do take time, but it's important to recognize them so that others are able to listen and able to learn and really take away what you all are doing and emulate that work, in the future for the city of Los Angeles, and that you have persevered, just through the ups and downs of just contracting and just all the requirements and such. But being able to compete with others that are also sometimes outside of the city, outside of California, and really do the work that is so beneficial to many of Los Angelinos. So thank you so much and congratulations. All right, at this time, I think we want to take a picture. Oh, excuse me.
We're just gonna thank them again. Thank you to all of today's honorees. You are an inspiration to many, and hopefully to many other women entrepreneurs who are trying to get their feet at the door here at the city.
Yes.
Thank you for the exemplary work that you do to deliver vital services that make our neighborhoods safer, cleaner, and more livable for more than 4 million Angelinos here in the city of LA. You all play a key role in building and maintaining that critical infrastructure system of the second largest city in the nation. The Board of Public Works is proud to recognize each of you today and will continue to elevate the stories of women throughout public works. And as I always say, behind every great woman is another great woman. And I also want to thank our staff who provided valuable assistance to our Women's History Month celebrations, to Agnes Miranda, Celeste Leon, Natalie Hernandez, LaShawn McFadden, Jose Lozano, Richard Saplin, Dr. Campos, Norman Tanyada, Paul Rax, Matthew Castellanos, Tammy Nguyen, and LA San for the Organic LA Pail giveaway. And for that, we close our Women's History Month, but we will continue to lift up all women throughout the 365 days of the year. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
We will now we will pause and have a group photo. Where do you want the group photo? Okay, over there.
And Dr. Davis, do you want to
Yeah,
say
I had
just
just
one more?
one little closing comment. I want the honorees to know that I did listen and I was hearing what they were saying. To Ms. Lynn Jasper, I want to say that having been here for 50 years is a wonderful thing. And I want you to know that I heard you and that we look at diversity, and the diversity in the Bureau of Street Services would not be what it is if it were not for the trucking program. Without that program, the diversity there doesn't look as great as it is now and or could be. So I definitely heard you, and thank you so very much for your sharing your story. And just know that at least the board hears what you're saying. Thank you.
Madam Chair, it's 10:49. I can just reestablish your quorum really quick. And I'm going to get started with the recording as well. Perfect. We are in record mode. We have Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corzine, and Commissioner Reyes. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. Well, then we will reconvene with our meeting. It was pleasant for us to be able to recognize on the last day of Women's History Month the women business today. All right. We will go then with item number 1, and that's the Bureau of Engineering. And this is a revised budget, emergency change order number 9, and supplemental agreement change order number 10, Ford EC Inc., Council District 1, Cypress, a homeless housing project. And with us today, I think we have Ms. Quinones.
Good morning, Vice President Villegas, Commissioners, Executive Officer, and City Attorney. It's definitely a pleasure to be here this morning after celebrating women. They've paved the path for me, so I'm grateful to be here today. Item number 1 is a board report to revise the budget and issue an emergency change order number 9 and a supplemental change order number 10 to Ford EC for the City 1 homeless housing project. We're requesting authority for $1,500,000 in additional contingency. Emergency change order number 9 covers the revised grading work per building and safety requirements to ensure safety and of the structure and overall site. An additional 3 feet of over excavation and placement of approved soil and compaction will be done surrounding the foundation of all retaining walls. This scope of work is anticipated not to exceed $350,000. The supplemental change order is due to a public housing requirement. These requirements are not applicable at other shelters. Public housing code requires that all lower floor units be adaptable, meaning that they can be converted to ADA units as needed. This project in CD1 is actually a first prototype of a residential unit. The unit is 12 by 28, and it has a shower, restroom, a kitchen, a living room, and a dining area. So it does fall within the residential code, as other shelters have not. They've been congregate living and then tiny home villages. This has caused a redesign requiring additional decking, landing stairs, an additional 2,300 square feet of additional material. The work is anticipated to be $381,000. The increase in contingency will also cover change orders to compensate the contractor for additional civil, structural, and plumbing design, geotechnical testing and monitoring, as well as associated impacts for project delays. We were supposed to be done December of last year, and we are anticipating another few months of construction. The additional funding has already been approved by the mayor. This concludes my report. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Marina, for that report. Dr. Campos, just a technicality here. When I read off the item, I didn't read off the recommendations. Should I do that now?
You can do so for the record, not required, as long as we read the item into the record in terms of the item itself, which you did read, which is the revised budget, emergency change order number 9. However, you could read it into the record if you'd like, but not required.
Okay, all right. So I'll just read it into the record. All right, so there's 4 authorizations, as Ms. Quinones was just mentioning, and that's 1, authorize $1,500,000 in addition to contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $7,509,625 for CD1 Cypress Homeless Project. Number 2, authorize the city engineer to issue emergency change order number 9 to 40C, not to exceed the amount of $350,000 to address required over excavation, placement of imported soil, and compaction for retaining wall Foundation. Number 3, authorize the city engineer to issue a supplemental change order number 19 to Ford, not to exceed $381,000, to address additional decking needed to meet accessibility requirements and extend the term conditions of the Ford contract from the current ceiling of 125% of the contract award amount to the new ceiling of 157.13%. And last, number 4, authorize the city engineer to issue a subsequent supplemental agreement change order up to proposed 57.13% of the contract award amount to compensate the contractor for additional design costs, geotechnical construction support, extended field office overhead, and other change orders necessary to complete this project. All right, do we have any questions on this item? Dr. Campos? Excuse me, Dr. Davis?
All right, thank you. I just wanted to compliment the work that is being done in this area. Obviously, in terms of the leadership of the mayor's office has made it a priority for homelessness and Inside Safe, and we've been doing this work, and it's probably one of the stronger projects that help to underscore achieving that goal of Inside Safe. And I will also say that a lot of people on their own who are not a part of what we're doing as a city, I've noticed throughout this country, there's a movement of people in workforce who are just going to tiny homes themselves, all on their own. So this tiny house experience is wonderful for us, but it is also something that is being nationally recognized as a vehicle by which to make sure people, as the mayor says, are inside safe. So I want to thank you for the work that you are continuing to do, and I believe that when we look at the dollars that we spend here, over time it would be much cheaper than the multiple services that will be needed from the same human beings who are unhoused and the other services that they might need when we add it all up. So this work, I think, should continue, and I do believe as we are persistent and as we are committed and dedicated, that we will see that a change is going to come. So thank you so much, and I wanted to encourage you and let you know how much we value what you're doing, obviously because of the leadership that's coming from the mayor's office, but for what you have done before leadership really shone the light on this very critical and crucial work. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. And any other questions? I don't see any. Do we have a motion to move this item?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Dr. Davis, and
I second.
I'll second that. Dr. Campos, if you could take roll.
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Dr. Davis, seconded by Commissioner Reyes to approve item number 1. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to consider this item to go forward forthwith?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you. All right, and I think, Marina, you're here for item number 2 as well. And item number 2 is in Council District 6, and this is a revised budget and multiple change orders. Access Pacific, Inc. in Council District 6, Tiny Home Village, San Fernando, and Branford project, and that's to authorize $142,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $4,086,500 for Tiny Home Village, San Fernando, and Branford project. And number 2, authorize the city engineer to issue multiple change orders to Access Pacific, Inc., not to exceed the amount of $142,000 for the full and final settlement of the contractor claims and request for equitable adjustments on the project. And you will be presenting on this item. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you. As stated, item number 2 is to revise the budget and issue multiple change orders to Access Pacific for CD6 Tiny Home Village, San Fernando, and Branford. We're requesting authority for $142,000 in additional contingency. The change orders will cover additional site grading, fencing, plumbing modifications, sewer work, storage, and delivery fees incurred due to site delays of 4 months. The tiny home village was completed on February 9th. The site is fully operational, housing 161 people. Funding is available due to cost savings. This concludes my report. I'll answer any questions you may have.
And thank you for that. Do we have any questions on this item? I don't see any questions. Do we have a motion to move this item?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, Dr. Davis, excuse me, Dr. Campos, we have a motion by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corsand.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this item forward forthwith?
Please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. All right, let's move on then to item number 3. I will read this in for the record, and I think we have public comment on this item as well.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right, and this is in Council District 1, and it's a contract amendment, and it's for Korea Town Youth and Community Center, recommending that the board, subject to the mayor's and city council's approval, number 1, authorize the Office of Forest Management to reassign the work of tree planting activities originally assigned to the LA Conservation Corps approved by the board on March 26, 2021, to now be assigned to Korea Youth and Community Center, or widely known as KYCC. Authorize, number 2, authorize a contract amendment to the contract with KYCC up to the amount of $465,891.14 to fund citywide tree planting activities related to the Tree Guarantee Fee Planting Plan. Number 3, authorize the Board of Public Works, Office of Accounting to transfer $48,859.56 from the Public Works Trust Fund, Fund Number 834, Department 50, Revenue Source Code 574222, to the Board of Public Works, Fund Number 100, Department 74, Account 003040, for work purchases made by KYCC related to the Tree Guarantee Fee Planting Plan. And number 4, authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. And before us, we have Ms. Rachel Malarich. Welcome.
Are we hearing the public comment?
Oh, yes, thank you for that reminder. If you can get us the person on public comment.
Absolutely. Silva Blackstone, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 3. You will have 2 minutes to speak under public comment for item number 3. Silva Blackstone, if you can please unmute your microphone. There you go. Thank you so much. You have 2 minutes.
Good morning.
Please go ahead.
This is Silva Blackstone, retired certified arborist. And I would like to comment on this item. It seems like, I don't know if it's in your board reports or your documents for this meeting, but I have trouble understanding or contemplating why this was changed from LACC to KY, whatever it is. Because LACC is a decades-long program that not only plants trees in the ground, but grows the people that are in the program, often giving them educational opportunities and encouraging them to finish their education. There's a lot of things involved besides just labor in the ground. So I mean, if someone could explain why this has been changed, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to access the materials, but somewhere there must be an explanation of why this program is, these dollars are being reassigned. And again, I'm wondering how much it costs to plant an individual tree. And I have asked this question before the board before. How much does it cost the city to put in an individual tree as part of this replacement program? So, I mean, that must be calculated on how many trees they are actually replacing. But additionally, I want to shout out to my father, who gave my mother absolute power of attorney over herself and our family affairs when he was in the Army in World War II. This allowed my mother to independently acquire real estate property and build a value for our family. And that's something that any person could do for their family member, is to give them power of attorney over the affairs.
And please
so
wrap
that
up, Silva.
it's
Thank you.
not such a problem when they pass away. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that clears the queue for public comment on item number 3.
Thank you. And now we will have Ms. Rachel Malloridge present on this item. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners, City Attorney Mr. Jordan, and Dr. Campos. Really glad to be here with you this morning to discuss this item. Again, we're asking for a contract amendment for KYCC to assign them this work. I'll start with just a brief overview of the Guaranteed Tree Fee Program. This program was adopted in July of 2018 by the city in order to address 2 types of tree planting requirements that we have. One is our policy for a placement of 2 to 1 of street trees that are removed. So when we remove a street tree, we require a placement of 2 to 1. And sometimes where there was 1 tree, you can only put 1 tree back. And so historically, we would have the applicant or homeowner purchase a tree that didn't fit on the site and drop it off at a city yard. We didn't want to continue that. We want to make sure there's resources for planting, for establishment care for that tree. And so those trees are part of this policy. So we first try and plant the tree on site, and if it doesn't fit, they can use this tree guarantee fee to be able to provide that funding so we can plant it as part of a coordinated planting program. The second type of tree requirement that this policy covers are planning case trees. So our Department of City Planning has requirements wherein applicants that are building buildings that have more than 6 units are required to plant 1 tree for every 4 units. Again, Department of City Planning advises applicants first to plant trees on site, whether as part of a courtyard or open space, or as additional street trees if there are vacancies in the street trees around their property. If they cannot fit all the trees effectively on site, again, this is a tool for them to be able to meet that requirement and for the city to be able to focus on putting those trees where they're needed most within that council district. So that's the program as a whole. The street tree replacements are planted by the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, and I'm happy to say that since the inception of this program, receiving deposits in October of 2018, they have planted over 700 trees in that portion of the program. What's before the board today are the planning case trees, those trees that are required by the planning department, where we have received deposits from developers who could not fulfill that requirement on site. We originally came to the board in March of 2021 to assign the first 2 fiscal years worth of deposits, 2018-19 and 2019-20, to the Los Angeles Conservation Corps. Today, we're coming back to reassign that work and add the fiscal year 2020 and 2021, 2020 to 2021 trees as well, to bring us up to date in terms of those deposits and assign all the work related to this program. LACC was originally assigned the work, and we worked with them on developing the contract amendment that the board approved and that the council and mayor's office also approved. Unfortunately, the fee study for this program was conducted and completed in 2017, and when we were assigning this work, the Los Angeles Conservation Corps informed us that the fees that were available for planting did not meet their current costs for their staff. So we worked with them to find other avenues to kind of cover those costs and make sure that we could make them whole and move forward with assigning them this project, and worked for quite some time. Norman Tanada is also here today, our Public Works Trust Fund Manager, and he worked extensively with myself and the Conservation Corps to try and find a solution. Unfortunately, after extensive negotiation, it became clear that they did not feel comfortable with the funding available and had a lack of capacity on their end when they looked at the volume of work. So the price point was a little bit low for them still, even with our attempts to meet those cost overages. And they did not feel like they had capacity to take on this project at that time. So we immediately looked at Koreatown Youth and Community Center. We selected this organization for two reasons. One is that they have an existing contract with the city for graffiti removal and tree planting services. Most of our other City Plants nonprofit partners that plant as part of our larger planting program work as subcontractors to the Conservation Corps. So KYCC does have a direct contract with the city for tree planting services. And secondly, the bulk of the trees for this assignment fall within their service area for that City Plants program. It's in Council District 1 in the Central City West Specific Plan area, which is part of their service area. So those two things together is why we reached out to them. I will flag that for future contracts for this program, we will be hoping to use the new on-call list that will be developed by OCB. They've done an RFQ for tree planting and tree maintenance services that is in the process of being developed. When that is complete, we're hoping that future assignments of work from this program will utilize that list to move forward. And secondly, we are very happy that we received funding in last year's budget to do an updated fee study. So that issue that LACC raised for us, that the costs exceeded the fees that were collected, we will be addressing through that updated fee study that we'll be bringing before the board when we have that finalized. So we're hoping that we will have no future hiccups. We'll be like Street Services, who has gone forward and planted the trees for this program very successfully, and have no further delays with the development side or planning case side trees in the future. That's a little bit of the backstory, the history of where we are today, and why we're requesting the board to approve the contract amendment and the movement of funds in order to allow us to plant these 251 trees in Council District 1. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Dr. Davis?
Yes, I don't know if you can answer this question, but it's regarding the secondary issue you raised about the on-call list. Who's on that on-call list, and how did they go about developing it?
Yes, so that on-call list has not yet been developed. Office of Community Beautification came before the board and requested permission to do an RFQ for those services, and I know that they've been receiving applications for that. I'm not sure of the timeline when that closes, but we'll be reviewing the applicants, and I will be part of the review panel for that, and then they will be finalizing that list. But the hope is that by next fall, when we'd be trying to assign the next fiscal year's worth of work, we collect all the deposits for a single fiscal year. And then when the fiscal year closes, Mr. Tanada gives us that information, and then we want to assign the work. And we're hoping that by next fall, when we would be doing that work assignment, that on-call list would be available. And we're hoping that all of our nonprofit partners and other entities are, putting forward applications for that. I believe several of them have.
Great, that's what I was wanting to know. So that will then give us an opportunity to have all of the stakeholders who do this work on the list, and then you'd have a kind of organized way in which you let out the work according to the list. It will save you time, maybe, perhaps?
Absolutely. We're definitely looking at, I believe the plan is to have contract ceilings within that list that would allow us to just do notice to proceed. So we'd still be communicating about assigning that work, but it wouldn't require a contract amendment. It would allow us to use those contractors to assign the work and make it more expeditious and organized.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Oh, Commissioner Corson.
Thank you. I want to back up a little bit and go back to 2018. As you're saying deposits come in, how much does the bucket have to be before we assign tree plantings?
That's a great question. I was fortunate to come on staff in August of 2019, which is when the board offices were originally looking at beginning to assign this work and roll out the implementation of this program. And at that time, I recommended, in my previous role, I was one of the contractors in my former employment doing the sidewalk repair program trees. And my experience with that program is that we'd have an inconsistency as a nonprofit partner of how many trees were sent to us. Sometimes it was 5, sometimes it was 50. And so it made it a little more challenging for us to plan our work. And I recommended this approach of doing a single fiscal year where we collect, June to July, make a specific package for that partner, and then during the following planting season, they're able to move forward with planting and then watering those trees for 3 years in a way that gives them one work assignment that's easier for them to manage. So that's what we've been doing, or that was the plan, and that's what we've been doing with the street services side. We've been collecting that fiscal year assigning the work, transferring the funds to them, and having them execute that work in the following year.
So right now, we're collecting funds, for example, for this fiscal year that ends June 30th, and then July 1st, we would award to whoever to go and plant trees.
It would be a little bit later than July 1st. I know that the Public Works Trust Fund does reconciliation at the end of the year to make sure that we're really clear on which deposits we have, but that is the practice that we've done for street services, where we move forward in the first FSR, that first pass of the year, where there's funds transferred within the city to move funds to their accounts for them to do the work. And that's the assumption here as well, is that we'd be moving forward, again, August, September, selecting the contractor and issuing that notice to proceed. Again, our planting season is October to around May, preferably like October to March, but we'd be trying to assign the work prior to that starting so that they can hit the ground running. I will also flag that they have to plant per the planting plan adopted by council, which is another component of this.
And then, thank you. And then in another part of your presentation, you talked about it being for CD1. How do we determine in what area the trees go in?
Absolutely. So on the broader scale, we are returning the investment to where the deposit was received. So Council District 1 includes an area that has an even more stringent requirement. Central City West specific plan requires 1 tree for every unit in those buildings of more than 6 units. So they have even additional trees that are required as part of their plans, which is part of the reason we're seeing the bulk of the deposits occurring in Council District 1. And so we reinvest into the same council district. Secondly, in terms of the corridor and where we plant, Council, when they adopted this policy, wanted to have some oversight over where trees were replanted, and so we have to submit a planting plan. The first planting plan was adopted in December of 2019. We're hoping this year to bring back another planting plan because some of those council districts areas have saturated many of the corridors, primary and secondary corridors that were adopted and approved in that first plan. So we'll be bringing a new planting plan. For this project specifically, we are looking at those original corridors, and we'll be consulting also with the council office moving forward. That's part of the communication, both in the development of the planting plan, and as we move to implementation, we do communicate with them and make sure there aren't adjustment of priorities or additional sites that we should include.
Okay. And then my last question, I know this is, you said it's for 251 trees, which comes up to about $1,800 per tree. Is that just for the tree, or does that include time to go back and water it for 3 years?
That's a great question. It includes the cost of purchasing the tree, physically putting the tree in the ground, and the trees for this program are 24-inch box, so a little bit larger size than our 15-gallon that we plant for other programs. And then 3 years of maintenance. And that's one of the things that I'll just flag for the board, that in our fee study, we are asking our consultant to look at the cost for 5 years of maintenance, as both my office and the Urban Forestry Division have identified that 5 years is preferable for maintaining that establishment care to ensure the tree's greatest success in the changing climate. So it does include 3 years of watering. The other component it includes is replacement. So I can share from my own experience that we do expect around 10% of trees that we plant to fail due to establishment. You know, when you transplant shock or vandalism, we do lose trees. Even if your contractor is doing a great job, they're going to lose some amount of trees. And so we went ahead and included the 10% that is included in the fee, a 10% replacement value, so that if they do have those acts of vandalism that cause the tree to be removed prematurely or transplant shock, that they'll be able to move quickly to replant them and start that care over. It includes both the replanting and the care for that replanted tree.
Thank you.
Thank you for those questions, Commissioner Corsan. It gives a lot more context, you know, just for the work that you're doing, so I appreciate all the questions here. Thank you, Rachel, just for your report. I just have a minor question. And just because the caller who was on the phone just wanted a little bit of clarity in terms of the reasons why we are using KYCC instead of LA Conservation Corps, and the report clearly says that LA Conservation Corps declined the work just for capacity and not being able to have the right price point, so that it made us be able to work with KYCC.
That is correct. Yes, we worked for, to be honest, around a year going back and forth with the Conservation Corps because they are such a tremendous partner for us. We do really appreciate the work that they do citywide, both as the caller said, on workforce development and tree planting and maintenance and so many other great activities. But unfortunately, again, we've heard from all of our contractors the cost increases due to gas, the increase in our minimum wage, and other factors that are just outside of their control. And again, the fee study was conducted in 2017, so it just was not a good fit for them at this time, but we tried to work with them.
Wonderful. And thank you for that. It just goes to show that the need is so high in Los Angeles. And then I'm glad that Office of Community Beautification is doing their own on-call list, or in the process of doing their own on-call list. For those on listening or who will be listening to our meetings possibly in the future, this will include nonprofits, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we can never have enough tree planting organizations or other nonprofits that do this type of work because again, the need is so great. So hopefully we'll have a robust list that we can just tap into, an on-call list to be able to do some of this work. Yeah, and I think Commissioner Reyes also has some questions.
Just one question, Rachel, on the timing of the planting. Could you just explain that it's not, is it going to be done immediately, or do we have sort of like a season for planting the trees?
Yes. So obviously, this is our first stop on a bit of a tour to get this contract completed. We're before you today, and then we'll need to get both mayor and council approval, which we know will take some time, but we'll be trying to move as quickly as we can through that process. After the contract amendment is finalized, if we do find ourselves heading into the late spring, early summer months, we will be probably advising the consultant to wait until October. So that's actually what I foresee most likely to be happening, is to wait until the fall to put these trees in the ground to give them the best chance of success. You can plant trees in your backyard or what have you in the summer, but it is more stressful for the plant and requires additional oversight and care than if we wait until the fall. It's preferable to wait during that planting season for the optimal time for the tree's health and success and the best use of public funds.
Thank you.
Thank you for those questions. All right, so we will take a motion to move this item.
Second.
All right, Dr. Campos, we have a motion by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corsan. If we could take a vote.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to consider this item to move forward forthwith?
Please, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on then to item number 4, and this is in a second. Yeah, item number 4, and this is a specification submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids for Council District 14 for Central Los Angeles Recycling and Transfer Station improvements, and that's work order S31 PCRRP, estimated value of $6,549,998 with a bid receipt date of May 3rd, 2023. Do we have a motion? Well, I'll move this item to go forward if we have a second.
I second.
All right, Dr. Campos, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Reyes.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this specification forward forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, and then item number 5, and this is an oral report, and this is a status update on major upcoming street improvement projects by the Bureau of Street Services. Welcome.
Good morning, Vice President Villegas, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, and Dr. Campos. My name is Gary Brandt, the Superintendent with the Street Renewal Division of Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact our coordinating section for the Street Renewal Division at 213-847-3200. There are no major street projects scheduled in the Metro or Valley regions during the week of 4/2/23 through 4/8/23. However, we will provide an update on our 22-23 pavement preservation program. During the week of April 2nd through April 8th, 2023, the Valley and Metro regions will complete 16 projects for a total of 13.81 lane miles. The press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders. We have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org, using the Resurfacing Open Projects icon. This concludes my report.
Thank you. I don't see any questions. I think we're good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Let's go on then to item number 5. I'll read this in. This is contracts expiring within 90 days, and we have Bureau of Sanitation, Bureau of Street Services, and Bureau of Engineering. And I think we have 2 public speakers, correct, Dr. Campos?
We have 3 individuals on the
3.
line.
Okay.
Madam Chair, would you like to consider those comments at this time?
Yes, please.
Great, thank you. Kenyatta Cole, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 6. This is a status update on contracts expiring within 90 days. If you can please unmute your microphone, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning to the Board of Public Works. My name is Kenyatta Cole. I would like to speak on item number 6. I received a call back in October and November of 2022 from Streets LA head of construction, and they were saying that the city attorneys wasn't going to renew our contract come July 1st of 2023. And so the as-needed haul truck program, we went out and we retained 85 expert 85 attorneys to meet with Streets LA and the city attorneys to give them a PowerPoint presentation of AB5 and allow them to ask and answer any questions that they may have concerning this program. And so, but they continue not to meet with us. They haven't been transparent. And so we, the as-needed representatives, we've been trying to call and email, but no response. And that's why we're here today. The attorneys are willing to meet with Streets LA to allow them to understand the new law on AB5 and how it applies to the trucking industry and to this program. AB5 defines us and it tells us exactly who we are as independent contractors of this program, and it tells us exactly who we are. And we meet every prong of the Dynamex ABC test when it comes to doing business with the City of Los Angeles. The City of Los Angeles, being the hiring entity, can keep this a sole source program, keep it like it is, and keep it in-house. And the 94 minority owner-operators can continue this program and continue to do business with the City of Los Angeles. We believe that the city attorneys are trying to bring in a broker, a vendor, to do the job that this program provides, but AB5 says no third-party entity. A broker would cost the city millions of dollars, and we don't need a third-party entity to come between this program and the city of Los Angeles,
2 minutes.
and work in this working relationship that we have. There's no silver bullet when it comes to AB5 in this situation, and the city attorneys are looking for a liability buffer to stand between this program and the city.
2 minutes, if you can please wrap
just
up.
in case there might be a lawsuit. Brokers failed to meet the prongs of the Dynamex test and the Borrello test, and we, the representatives of this 94 minority as needed program,
Time.
is
If you can
asking
please wrap up.
the Bureau, the Board of Public Works, to stand behind this program, renew our contract, continue the future of this program,
If you can
and
please
have
wrap
the
up.
city attorneys and Street LA
Madam
to
Chair,
work
would you like
with
to move
us
forward to
to
the next
keep
caller?
this program and to enhance the quality
If you
of
can please
life.
wrap up.
and
You're
economic
over your
growth,
time limit.
health,
We
and
will have to,
environment to all Angelenos.
go
Thank you.
ahead, Dr. Campos.
We'll move forward with the next caller on the line. Caller ending in 565. Caller ending in 565. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *6. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Caller ending in 565. There you go. Thank you. You'll have two minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead. Caller ending in 565, your microphone is unmuted at this time. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 6. Please go ahead.
Yes.
We are getting some feedback. If you have a secondary
I would like
device, if you
to-
can mute the secondary device.
Just to reiterate that we are in compliance with AB5 and this and the new law, this new AB5 law. We are in compliance. We meet every prong of the ABC test. And so we're asking the Board of Public Works to stand with us, have this program to continue another 132 years. We're asking that you allow us to have street services and the city attorneys to do the work, to do the hard work, and to continue this program. I mean, it's been tried and tested. We do the work. We're doing it below cost. And we love the work that we do with the city of Los Angeles. And we're asking that you stand tall with us. And the future of this program needs to continue. I want to thank Ms. Jasper for her years of dedication and Ms. Sandy Cottrell. I want to thank them for their hard work and contributing to making LA a better place to live. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next caller on the line, Floyd. Floyd, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you for taking my call at this moment. I would just like to follow up on some of what Kenyatta Cole was saying. Thank you to Ms. Jasper and to Sandy. My family has been part of the city contract program since 1990. My father's a World War II veteran as well as a Korean War veteran. He got into trucking because he couldn't, he only had a 9th grade education. And so, this was a way for him to support his family and take care of us. And in 2010, when he passed away, my mother was able to inherit the contract from my father, just like Ms. Jasper was able to inherit from her husband. My family's been part of this contract since 1990, and I actually got my own contract shortly after his death in 2011 or 12. Through the years, we've been able to provide opportunities to convicted felons by giving them an opportunity to work again, giving them a second chance after rehabilitation. My father has 3 employees currently employed with the city of Los Angeles, who's been doing very well in promoting through the years, multiple promotions. I personally have 2 employees who are currently employed with the city. So what I'm trying to say is this program is not just good for those people who are running the businesses. It's good because the city is actually allowing people second chances who go serve their time, have a felony on their record, would not be able to walk through the front door But through this program, they're able to walk through the back door because the city sees their workmanship, sees that they're good people, and actually hire them into the city as employees. And, you know, we're dedicated to the city. We're loyal to the city. We love what we do. The reason why Sandy couldn't be present today is because she's actually out there paving the roads for the city today. She would probably have loved to have been in there to receive her recognition, but she chose to go to work. And she loves what she does, and so does everybody else. So there's more women in the organization than Sandy and Miss Jasper. So, you know, on the day that we're recognizing women, I just find it an ironic occasion that we're here to address this contract. Because come this time next year, if we get rid of this contract, these same women would not be able to get recognized for the dedication of the work that they do. And that's all the time. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Floyd. We'll move on to the last caller on the line, Victor Vasquez Sr. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 6. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
2 minutes to
perfect.
speak.
Good. So I'm working today. I had to pull over to the side of the road off the 10 freeway, a lot of traffic, but I'm in a safe position. But it's very important that I speak with you guys regarding this program as well. I'm the first Southern Vice President of the Western States Trucking Association. Been around for over 81 years, and I'm an active member of the As Is Needed program. With this 90 days upon us, let's show our mayor who we are. We're a family of over 130 years strong. Let's move forward and be proactive with this new contract. And I'd like to make an early proposal and an early motion at this time on behalf of the 94 truck As Is Needed truckers to proceed with a 5-year contract and a 15% increase over that time period. One of the factors that most Angelenos don't understand is that SB1 is for the roads and the freeways and the highways that we actually do. So it only makes sense that we all contribute, or at least if somebody's going to get something back out of it, it should be us, because we're the ones funding all the fuel for to pave these roads and highways and bridges. And that SB1 is in effect until 2027. So please understand, the last raise was 2 years ago. So we were okay at the time, but things have changed in the past 2 years, and the next 5 years don't look too promising when it comes to fuel prices because of SB1. Also, you know, we work side by side with all the city employees, and they have told me numerous times on several occasions, whether it's the office or the foremans or the ground crew, that this program would not survive without people like us. We're actually family. We spend more time, 7 days a week with them than our own families. So let's make progress together. Let's all join the podium with Mayor Karen Bass, shoulder to shoulder, and get another victory just like the LAUSD negotiations. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Victor. Madam Chair, that does clear the queue for item number 6.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, then why don't we move on to our Bureau updates on contracts expiring within 90 days, and we'll start with Mr. David Kim with Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Vice President, Commissioners, and City Attorney, Executive Officer. David Kim from LA Sanitation Admin Division. I'm here to present the monthly report for March 2023. We have 9 contracts expiring within the next 90 days. They're with CH2 Hamel Engineers, 9th Generation, DCSE, 3DI, CDM Smith, Weston Engineering, Inflection Point Solutions, Parsons Environment, and Tetra Tech. These are the as-needed consultant services for the implementation of Sanitation Automation Master Plan. LA San will exercise a 1-year renewal option contained in the contract to extend the term to April 24, 2024. The board report is currently being approved in LA San, and the board will be briefed prior to the board hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. So it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 contracts coming up for expiration.
That's correct.
And then some of these are going to be scheduled for contracts to be renewed?
Yes, they're all expiring at the same time, and
Extensions?
yeah, there's a 1-year renewal option in
Got
the
it.
contract that will be exercised.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you
All right,
for your
thank you.
waiting.
No problem.
Enjoy your weekend. All right, thank you. And next up, we have Ms. Martha Iniguez, and that's with the Bureau of Street Services.
Thank you, President. I'm Vice President Villegas. Good morning, Board Commissioners, representatives, and staff. Streets LA currently has 1 contract that will be expiring within the next 3 months. However, we've included in this report 5 disposal services contracts that expire December 2022. We are currently waiting for mayoral approval prior to executing the amendments. The contract that will be expiring in the next 90 days is for Cool Pavement with Creative Paving Solutions. It is due to expire June 30th. If funding is secured, Streets LA will release an RFP. Additionally, we have 93 owner-operator work agreements for the as-needed haul truck program that will expire also on June 30th. Streets LA is currently having discussions on the future of this program and how it can meet Assembly Bill 5 and city contracting requirements. I'd like to add that Streets LA thanks and appreciates the truckers for their dedication to providing reliable hauling services to the city of Los Angeles. We hope to bring our findings to the board very soon. That concludes my report. Thank you, Commissioners, for your time. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you. And I think we have Dr. Davis who has questions.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, in terms of the trucking program, was there a meeting convened to have some discussion about the policies as it relates to the impact of AB 5 with the truckers? Did we in the Bureau coordinate such a meeting?
Yes, extensive meetings have been held with management and city attorney.
And the truckers themselves?
No, not the truckers.
Is there going to be such a meeting, or is that within the authority that we have to have such a meeting at that point, or at any point in time?
At this time, I'm not aware of any meeting being scheduled soon.
I see. Okay. Thank you for that question. That answer.
Thank you for those questions. And I don't see any other questions. Appreciate your report, Ms. Martha Iniguez.
Thank you very much for your time.
Sorry you had to wait so long. Enjoy your weekend. All right, and Bureau of Engineering. And we have Jonathan Carroll. I see your report is very short. Sorry for having you wait.
That's okay. Jonathan Carroll, Bureau of Engineering, Project Award and Control Division. This is the Bureau of Engineering report on personal services contracts due to expire within 90 days from March 1st, 2023. The Bureau of Engineering has 1 contract that was scheduled to expire. The contract is C127281 with Populous Incorporated for the Los Angeles Convention Center expansion. On March 17th, the board agreed to an extension of the contract, and the Bureau is in the process of executing the amendment. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That was just before our board, I want to say last week. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. No additional questions. Enjoy your weekend, Mr. Carroll. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. All right. Dr. Campos, does that clear the desk?
Yes, it does.
All right. And Commissioners, we will not hold a management meeting today. Okay. Thank you. We are done with today's business, March 31st at 11:43. Thank you.